What's going on, everybody? I wanted to give you guys a couple quick tips on starting your second or third or fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh or eighth or ninth or 10th Warhammer army for super cheap. This is two of the best ways I can think of. This is gonna only work or work much better when you're very familiar with the hobby and very familiar with the prices of things. And also you've been a nice person in your local community. So first step is you're going to need money. To really get a second or third or whatever army really quick, plan on dropping like at least about $200 or more at once, if you already know what army you want. The next step is go on your local Facebook group. You're on YouTube right now. There's another huge website called Facebook. Go on there and search your city, Warhammer 40k, W40k, 40k, Warhammer, AOS, Age of Sigmar. Just find your local Facebook groups. A lot of more people in Arizona, per se, play the game than actually participate or I see posting or anything on the Facebook groups. So I don't know if they're there or not, but regardless, get on those groups. Also, get the app Offer Up. It's like Let Go, but it works a lot better. It's easier to use, and I don't know if Let Go is still good or going. Like, I don't know which one people use more, but I've had a lot of luck on Offer Up. So get the app Offer Up every once in a while, every day or so, every 2 days, every week. Just search Warhammer. You don't have to get fancy with how you search it. Just type in Warhammer, and you'll find some cool deals. Like, I got a giant Blood Angels army off Offer Up when I wanted to get back into 40k after playing Age of Sigmar for a while, and all the guy wanted was a new Xbox. Like Xbox One or whatever it was at the time, kind of near the end of 7th edition. And like, I got a lot, like big battle foam cases, like 15 dreadnoughts. I got Eldar stuff, I got Igard stuff, I got all his bits, all his paints, all his paint brushes, right? And it was like $450 or something, whatever it was. But the value of it, I mean, I had like 4 Land Raiders, I think. It was like 15 dreadnoughts, storm talons, storm ravens, drop pods, predators, everything, all the characters for the Blood Angels. And they're not painted the best. And in the beginning, I was stripping them and trying to do that, and that takes a lot of time. So you might end up what I did is I ended up spraying over top of the paint job with Army Painter's primer, colored primers. And it worked good enough. Blood Angels for me were never a army I really loved, because I just simply I played them because I found a great deal on them. So if you're open to having a second army, or you are, a third army, fourth army, or you think you might, be willing to try something new if you have some money to put down, don't pass on just picking up somebody's whole army or whole collection if they're getting out of the hobby, because it's a good way to get a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally think you want, or maybe a year later you'll need it or want it. I think it's a mistake to try and flip things, like buy some, especially locally, like unless you're upfront about it. If you buy some stuff off somebody and then that night you're trying to sell it for more than they just sold to you, they will feel slighted. And I think that is because they would rather have just sold it locally to the other person who's paying whatever price you're asking, right? So, I don't know, I'd be wary of that. And if you do it, just be honest, don't be sneaky. I don't even know if it's sneaky, but some people are like, oh, I gotta make some room in my collection, and then like everybody knows they're just reselling, right? So it's not like you're, and don't get me wrong, I believe you are definitely allowed to buy and sell miniatures. I do it quite a bit, but because I'm a Warhammer hoarder, I hold on to things for a long time. And then down the road, if I'm like, oh, I don't need that, you know, or I have 5 of these, how did I get those? You know, I only need 2 or 3 now, or whatever. Maybe I'll sell 2. And it works out to be really great. So join those OfferUp and join your local Facebook groups and just, you know, say, hey, you'd be surprised, like, especially if you're new to the hobby, or only in a year or whatever, I don't think you understand, like, some of us have piles of stuff, like unopened stuff, and we're still buying more, right? We still want more. We still want to get some, you know, oh, I don't have a Terminator librarian, or geez, it'd be cool if I had a Wazdakabama, or man, I always wanted to paint a, as I just look around my room, I always wanted to paint a, oh, here we go, I always wanted to paint a Sons of Medusa Primaris Marine. I'm gonna do like a slideshow video on this guy when he's done. He's getting there. I think I'm about to give up on him. He's coming out pretty cool, but so you'd be surprised. Just say, oh, you know, go to your local game store, pick up some stuff, right? This is your second army, right? You're already familiar. You could do this on your first army, but I think you're better off being familiar so you don't feel like you overpaid or you bought some stuff that's not good or this or that. So I do this like second army, or take a risk, first army. Buy, you know, your codex, buy this, you know, the rule book. It's unbelievable how many people don't own the rule book, or their own codex. If at least it feels that way. I don't know. I think they like download pirated PDFs, glance over it once, and try to play games. People have stuff to sell, and they're happy to sell because they also want more money to buy what they want, right? So today I picked up a whole bunch of stuff, and it's all stuff I might use. Some of it I might trade with some of my other friends that I know they have, you know, that particular army. I got a Gilliman today. I have no interest in playing Ultramarines, but I wouldn't mind maybe painting a Gilliman, seeing if I could paint like a nice one, do a good job, or maybe I could trade Gilliman for Balsarius Call, right? I don't have him for my AdMech. He's like the only model I don't have, and now I got a Gilliman to trade for it if, you know, I find the right person. And I'm in no hurry, right? I could just hold on to it for 6 months, a year, and then be like, oh, you know, yeah, I'm not going to get around to painting Gilliman, right? I'm still working on my 150th Vostroyan infantry guy. I'm never going to get around to painting anything or whatever. The next tip, there'll be a link below, but it's going to be to eBay, and you just do, I'll put a couple links that I like to use. And you just do these searches, turn your search engine to ending soonest, and I switch it to US only because I don't want to pay the extra shipping, and usually the prices work out to be about the same in, like, say, Europe or United States or Canada, but then almost always because of shipping, you know, you're going to be paying more, whereas you could just find it eventually from a US seller and they, you know, pay less. So I do US only when I buy stuff, and, you know, pretty much when I sell stuff I just do US only. It makes it easier for shipping. But do the, you know, click around on these searches. These will be affiliate links down below, and they're just searches I use to find, you know, big lots of stuff. And depending on how much money you want to drop, like I sold my Salamander army for like $400, $350, and the guy almost immediately had it all pieced out, piece by piece, and was auctioning it all off and making, you know, probably $450 or whatever, or maybe more. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I was just happy to get rid of my Salamanders. So it's cool that I made $350 for selling something I haven't used in years and years and years and years, and now he bought it and he gets to make, you know, a couple $100 profit because he's going to take the time to sort it all out and, you know, eBay it piece by piece, whereas I just wanted to put it up in one big lot. And because of this, other people do the same thing. They want to sell their whole army, and sometimes it's very, very good deals, but you look at it and it looks overwhelming because like there's a weird paint job. You don't know why you need 8 flying whatevers, or it's got 6 chimeras and you already bought 2 at the store, so you were only planning on running 2 and now you're going to get 6 extra. But it's just a good way to buy into it like a second army, or to buy a grip of stuff that uses like trade for, you know, maybe your buddy plays iGuard. Well, if you find a good deal on some iGuard, you know, hey, I say you trade it to him and he, you know, buys you a start collecting or whatever, right? So I don't know, just some ideas on getting a second army going, or a third or a fourth. A super good way too is if somebody is getting out of the hobby, make sure you get their bits box. If they have it, most of us have a bits box. Ask them if they have all the bits, or like a bits box or a hobby box or whatever, because a lot of times you'll like go through that and you'll be amazed how many full models are just chilling in there. So those are some tips on how to get your second or third army going for Warhammer 40k at a much reduced price. Get a nice big chunk of points, then pick up that Baneblade from your local store, or you know, maybe you need to get a couple start collectings or something. Personally, I don't buy anything. I only buy from my local store or off other people, but I only buy at, I'll buy stuff on eBay like for me that my local store sells only if it's like over 30% off, because most things on eBay are like 20% off, and I'd rather support the place I play and love than save 20%. And the place I buy and play at, every time you spend a certain amount of money, you get a card that's 20% off. So then you could spend like $300, get $60 off, or spend, you know, $300 and get like a free tank or something, right? So it works out for me that way. If you don't have a local store, or you're not loyal to a local store, or you don't particularly like a local store, or maybe you're in a small town, you're probably getting like 20% off on eBay. Some things people try to up. You know, you got to be a little familiar with prices with eBay. But yeah, to go on your local groups. Let's say you live in Tennessee, right? Search on Facebook, Warhammer 40k Tennessee. Find the groups, go to the group tab, go in there, type in, hey, anybody have any Dark Eldar to sell, right? Maybe that's the army you want to play. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people probably do, and they've probably been sitting in their closet for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and now they're like, whoa, hey, I wasn't even thinking about selling this, but this guy just asked, and, you know, I have that. So you guys might start a conversation and get some cool stuff. And what inspired me to make this video is I just got like a really, really good deal on a whole bunch of cool stuff today. I got Gilliman, I got the Stormcast from Blight War. I have a huge Stormcast army I've never played, now it's even bigger. I got like some Horus Heresy Marines, which are super cool. I might make them into Deathwatch Marines, or I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them yet. Or maybe try to just paint them or something. Anyway, awesome. Oh, and don't be afraid if you're buying locally, especially if it's somebody who's also in the hobby like you are. Don't be afraid to, you know, throw in a couple extra dollars. Like today, the guy said 175, and I just said, oh, let's just do 180, because it was a good deal, you know. And he wanted, you know, money for whatever part of the projects and hobby stuff he's working on, and it was all stuff for me that, you know, I just thrilled to own now. And, you know, if 2 years from now I realize I don't need Gilliman, right? Then I have a Gilliman to trade or sell, or however it works. So keep your your eyes open and your ears open, and go on eBay. Links down below in the description. I see a lot of people on YouTube do that, and these are just searches I use. Oh, I don't think I finished telling you how to do this. Go click it to, in the top right, sort by ending soonest, and then just go through like a couple days worth of pages. So that way, anything ending like that day and the next day and the next day. I want to go past like 3 days personally, but depending on how much you want to check it, or if that's something you're into. And believe me, if you buy, I'll probably make another video about this, but I'll leave it here at the end of this one if anybody's stuck around this long. If you go on eBay and buy say an Eldar army, let's say you want let's say you want 2 Vipers, and they're, geez, I don't know the prices, but let's say they're $40 each, right, for 2 Viper jet bikes for the Eldar. And I just said I don't know the prices, and I was telling you earlier you should be very aware of the prices, but I would have a tab open and check if I could. Let's say you wanted 2 Eldar Viper jet bikes, and you go on eBay and you see a good deal for an Eldar army that includes 2 Viper Eldar jet bikes. You buy the army, you sell off all the pieces you don't want, and you probably get all your money back and get 2 free Viper jet bikes by just putting in a little extra work. Or you buy the army, you don't need that Falcon, you don't need that 3rd or 1st or 2nd Falcon, but then Chapter Approved comes out, and all of a sudden Falcons are how you get, you know, get those tournament points, right? You need those Falcons now. So sit on them for a while. You don't have to turn them around in, you know, a week. A lot of your, like, if your money is just sitting in the bank, it's probably not gaining interest anyway. So if it's just sitting in the form of models, it's fine. There's more risk, I guess, because the models could be damaged, but you know, maybe you'll fall in love with them, and all of a sudden you'll have a bunch of extra stuff that you're glad you did buy, and you won't miss it. At least I don't think so. I never bought something and go, I wish I never bought that. I'm actually okay with having unopened boxes of stuff, because I'm like, well, maybe I'll get around to needing that, or maybe I'll trade it, or maybe I'll sell it later on. So this is some top tips from the Red Beard Boss on how to start your 2nd or 3rd or 4th army, etc. Or you end up just eventually having like way too many armies because you're cursed with the never able to not buy a good deal when it comes to Warhammer. So if somebody's posting like a good deal for sale locally, I'm all about buying it. This week I'm picking up a Primaris army, which I'm super excited about. So hopefully I get that, and that will be mostly my new Death Watch detachment, because that's what I need is more armies. But I'm going to keep the Death Watch detachment small, and they're going to ally in with the iGuard or the AdMech, or they'll just have, you know, cool 3-ways. What up?